It was a warm summer day, July 19, 1989, a routine day for commercial aviation in the United States. United Airlines Flight 232, a McDonnell Douglas DC-10, was scheduled to depart from Denver Stapleton International Airport. Its route was clear, a brief stop at Chicago O'Hare International Airport, then onward to its final destination, Philadelphia International Airport. A total of 296 people were on board, 285 passengers and 11 crew members. The weather was good, the skies cooperative, and everything appeared to be running on schedule. The aircraft, tail number N1819U, was a seasoned workhorse of the skies, a DC-10-10 model that had flown countless miles before. At 2:09 p.m. Central Daylight Time, Flight 232 lifted off from Denver, climbing steadily toward cruising altitude, heading east. No one on board could have imagined that this flight would become one of the most remarkable survival stories in aviation history. The McDonnell Douglas DC-10, a wide-body, tri-jet aircraft that redefined long-distance travel in the jet age. First taking to the skies in 1970, the DC-10 was designed to deliver comfort, range, and performance. With its distinctive three-engine configuration and spacious cabin, it quickly became a favorite among airlines and passengers alike. From domestic routes to transcontinental journeys, the DC-10 helped connect the world, one flight at a time. Equipped with powerful turbofan engines, state-of-the-art avionics for its time, and advanced safety systems, the DC-10 embodied the future of commercial aviation throughout the 1970s and 80s. It served proudly with carriers like United Airlines, American, Continental, and international giants across the globe. It wasn't just a plane. It was a symbol of progress, a bridge between cities, and a testament to aviation engineering. Over 446 units were built, serving faithfully in both passenger and cargo roles, some flying for decades beyond their original design life. But even the strongest machines faced the unexpected. And on one fateful afternoon in July 1989, the DC-10 would become the stage for one of the most heroic flights in aviation history. On July 19, 1989, Flight 232 was about to encounter a nightmare no one could have predicted. Cruising at 37,000 feet, United Airlines Flight 232 seemed to be flying just as planned. Smooth skies. Normal operations. Silence in the cockpit. But at 3:16 p.m. Central Daylight Time, without warning, it happened. A sudden, violent explosion rocked the aircraft. The tail-mounted number 2 engine had just disintegrated. Inside the engine, a titanium fan disc, weakened by an invisible fatigue crack, had shattered with unimaginable force. Shrapnel tore through the rear fuselage like a shotgun blast. In a cruel twist of fate, the debris severed all 3 hydraulic lines, the very lifeblood of the aircraft's control systems. Suddenly, the crew couldn't move the rudder. Couldn't tilt the ailerons. Couldn't raise or lower the nose. The aircraft had become almost unflyable, a 300,000-pound machine with no steering. Warning lights flashed. Alarms blared. In the cockpit, the flight crew faced a nightmare scenario few had ever imagined, and none had ever trained for. But they didn't give up. Captain Al Haynes, First Officer William Records, Flight Engineer Dudley Dvorak, and a fourth hero, DC-10 instructor Dennis Fitch, who happened to be on board, came together in the most extraordinary way. With no flight controls, they turned to the only thing they had left, the throttles. By adjusting power between the left and right engines, they began to steer the aircraft, using engine thrust alone. It was crude. It was unstable. And it had never been done before. But against all odds, it worked, just enough to aim the crippled plane toward a small airport in Iowa. Their destination, Sioux Gateway Airport in Sioux City. Their challenge, landing an aircraft they could barely control, with 296 souls on board. With no control surfaces and only 2 remaining engines, United Airlines Flight 232 descended toward Sioux Gateway Airport like a wounded bird. The flight crew, led by Captain Al Haynes and assisted by DC-10 trainer Dennis Fitch, had managed the unthinkable, keeping the aircraft roughly on course using only differential engine thrust. Emergency crews scrambled on the ground. The airport was cleared. Fire trucks lined the runway. Everyone knew what was coming, and feared the worst. The plane was coming in too fast, over 215 knots, nearly double a normal landing speed. Without flaps, slats, or spoilers, there was no way to slow it down. And with no rudder or elevator, they couldn't level it cleanly. At 4 p.m., Flight 232 made contact with the runway. The right wing dipped, struck the ground, and within seconds, the plane cartwheeled in a violent spiral. The fuselage shattered into multiple sections, metal torn, fire erupting, smoke blanketing the wreckage. And yet, from this devastation came something astonishing. Of the 296 people on board, 184 survived. Many walked away, helped by fellow passengers, first responders, and the calm leadership of the flight crew in their final, fateful minutes. Yes, 112 lives were tragically lost, but it could have been all of them. What happened in those final moments wasn't just a crash, it was a miracle of human resolve, teamwork, and sheer will to survive. The wreckage of Flight 232 lay scorched across the runway. But among the twisted steel and torn seats, were stories of courage, acts of sacrifice, and the power of calm minds in the face of chaos. Flight 232 didn't just go down in flames. It rose into history. The crash prompted sweeping changes in aviation, from engine inspections and materials testing, to the rise of crew resource management, now a global standard in pilot training. Flight 232 became a case study not just in disaster, but in hope, and in how lives can still be saved even when everything goes wrong. At Aero Explorers, we tell these stories not to dwell on the fear, but to honor the courage, innovation, and human determination behind every flight that makes history. Because every takeoff holds a story. And some change the skies forever.